looks pretty wet. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to the Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. I mean, seriously? Now, for a long time now, I've dreamt about owning a Porsche, and I am very, very lucky because earlier this year, my Porsche ownership dream came true when I collected my 718 Boxster GTS. A very special day, and every single day since then, I've come out of my house, looked into the garage and seen this parked here, and I've had to pinch myself. I honestly still can't believe that I own a Porsche. It's a beautiful car, and the reality of that dream coming true is something very special. And if you work hard enough, and you don't have to buy one as new as this, but you can go and buy a Porsche, you can go and buy a new Porsche, pretty much any of the range, apart from every now and again, a Porsche comes out, a special limited edition Porsche, normally a GT car, that if you want one, especially if you want one new, you need to be a very special Porsche customer. It's not good enough to just have a Porsche, you need to have a significant history of buying Porsches, you need quite a lot of money in the bank as well. And behind me, therefore, I think is my ultimate dream Porsche. And when I saw this car released and I first saw pictures and videos of it, I never thought I would even get to sit in one, let alone drive one, let alone have one for a couple of days to film with you guys. So I want to kind of share that experience with you. Behind me is the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS. So yeah, This is the car that Porsche said they would never make. It's a stunning spec, racing yellow, Weissach pack, GT4 RS. Now, I've spent a lot of time in a Cayman GT4, and just recently on the channel, I even posed the question, would something like a Cayman T, if you didn't have the budget to stretch to a GT4 RS, could that give you that driver's car feel, that special thing a Porsche does to you when you drive it quickly down a B road? So if you like, that's going the low budget side of a GT4 RS. This is pushing the boat out completely. And what a stunning, stunning car. Now, sadly, the weather is not behaving itself while I've got this car. But let's pull it out of the garage and have a really good talk about it. Because this car, if we believe Porsche for many years, shouldn't even exist. A Cayman with a 911 GT3 RS engine in the back that revs to 9,000 RPM. Yep. 9,000 RPM. One of the best sounding cars I've ever driven. Slightly different format for this video because for me, this car is a model of air management and aerodynamics. For sure, it's a Cayman, but the intricacies, the little details in this car are something else. Let's start at the front, work our way back, and then I'll show you inside. Most noticeable is the whole front section of the car, but the front wing especially. Very aggressive air management. You've got these big louvres coming out the top of the wing to release the high pressure air that's built up on the front wing. You've got this big gap here that kind of funnels air down the side of the car into the intake for the rear engine. This car, no surprise really, is spec'd with the Porsche ceramic brakes. And then even at the front here, you've got a massive big splitter on the front, but then you've got these little louvres and little fins. You can just almost see the air moving around the car. And then on the bonnet, you've got two big knackered ducts right in the middle of that carbon fibre bonnet. It is a spectacular thing. And I know some of you might think it's a bit over the top, but after all, this is an RS model and none of this is here for show. It's all here because it has a job. And that is also to be said for the big wing on the back of the car. I know it's a much used word, but rear of the year, I think so. Now, we first saw this style of wing on the 992 GT3 with these swan necks, and I'm sure by now you all know the reason for that, but it's to keep an undisturbed underside of the wing, because that's actually where you get the most aerodynamic effect, the most downforce. It's a very aggressive rear of the car. I mean, a standard GT4's wing is pretty big. This, it's on another level. I don't think it's quite as mad and as outrageous as the new 911 GT3 RS, which really is big, but it's a big wing. And then you come down here and you've got just the most fantastic two exhaust exits, GT4 RS badging. It's a really, really special thing. Let me just grab the keys out. I do have it in my pocket somewhere, and just pop the rear deck, because the bit that I find really interesting. So on a normal Cayman, you've got the boot space, but then you'd have like almost like a parcel shelf. This is the Weissach pack, so you can see the roll cage, but we've also got, not quite see the engine, you've got this beautiful carbon cover with GT4 RS badging, and it's just a really big statement. That I absolutely love it in there. But that engine, that's what we're talking about. More breathing, these stunning carbon surrounded intakes in here, carbon mirror caps, carbon bonnet. You just keep walking around the car and spotting new things, new intrigue. It's just a stunning thing. Let's talk engine then, shall we? So, finally, in the back of a Cayman is a 911 GT3 RS engine. So, 4-litre flat 6. In this tune, it's producing 500 horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque. And that will propel this car onto a top speed of 196 miles an hour, and it will get to 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. It's a speedy car, and all of that through the very best of gearboxes, the 7-speed Porsche PDK. It's a stunning thing. Let's take a quick look at the interior, and then I'm hoping the roads are dried up a little bit, because this morning's drive back from Porsche was a little bit emotional. It's proper in here. I mean, it really is very beautiful in here. It's got so much Cayman obviously in it, but it's not like a Cayman. It's just got some extra special things. The gear shifter for a start, so 7-speed PDK. It's got these fantastic carbon fibre buckets. It's just a beautiful driving position. Now, although mere mortals can't go and buy one of these, this is probably one of the most sought after Porsches there are right now, I guess, along with things like GT3 Touring, the new GT3 RS. But just in case your lottery numbers come up, I thought you might like to know the spec. So, base Cayman GT4 RS, this is UK pricing, including 20% VAT, 108,370 quid. The big ticket items this car has on it, I won't go through the whole options list, but it's got the Weissach pack, which is basically this titanium roll cage in the back, and the Club Sport package. And it's also got leather interior Weissach package with this race text, and it's just beautiful interior. It's got a front axle lift, that's £1,800. Having spent quite a bit of time in a GT4, it's got a pretty low front on it, so I would suggest that's a very good thing to have. The LED headlights with the Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus, absolute must, £1,300. And then the other two really big ones is these seats, the 3D printed body foam full bucket seat with degree of firmness medium. That's £1,895. And then the PCCBs, the Porsche ceramic composite brakes, at £5,597. So all in, this car £133,549, which for a Cayman's an absolute load of money. However, I'm pretty sure at the moment you'd be paying, I don't know, 75, maybe 100 grand above list if you were to try and get one of these not through the official Porsche route. Good luck with that, by the way. But it is just a stunning, stunning place in here. But all of my walk around, all of the details, me telling you, one of the things I want to do is take you for driving this car and just let you try and get some kind of idea what it's like to drive. I'm very fortunate to have this car for the next couple of days. And honestly, I've driven it about an hour and a half home this morning. And the noise from that flat six behind is unbelievable. It's a very, very visceral car, this. But the noise on the way up, now it's wet. This thing redlines at 9,000 RPM. And on the way back, because it's on Cup 2s, Michelin's Pilot Sport Cup 2s, and it was very standing water, very wet. I didn't take it above about 6, but even at 6, it's absolutely wailing. So hopefully we'll get some dry roads, take it up to 9,000 RPM. But on the way down, the downshifts, oh my days. They're wicked. I've only got this car for 2 days and I've been battling with the elements. It's been pouring it down with rain. It's actually the day after I filmed my intros. But there's a break in the clouds, so let's take this car for a drive. While I wait for it to warm up, let me just talk you through the basics if you've never got to drive a GT4 RS before. So there's no drive mode selector switch like there is in my Boxster. We're just in sport. There are, however, some things you can change down here with real buttons. So first and most important thing is I've just turned the noisy exhaust on. Although to be fair, it's pretty noisy even when that button isn't on, but it's an absolute must. We'll talk more about the noise this car makes very shortly. You can also turn the start-stop off, which I tend to do because it tends to be a little bit annoying. And then on the left-hand side, I've got a PDK Sport option to sharpen up the gear shifts. We'll do that in a moment. I can firm up the suspension using the PASM. Honestly, on the public road, it's firm anyway. It's very jittery anyway. The last thing you really want to do is put the PASM on firm setting. That is track only, really. And then I've also got ESC off and ESC and traction control off. Not going to be using either of those today. So I'm actually going to start off with some negatives. Firstly, I've worn a lapel mic today because inside the noise, the cabin noise of this car, both from the engine behind and from the road, is quite a lot. It's a really noisy car. You struggle to hear the stereo, or if you're speaking to anybody on the phone, you struggle to hear that as well. The ride, so the steering geometry is very aggressive. When you get in it and you start manoeuvring it around a car park, it reminded me very much of the GT3, 992 GT3. You can feel the Ackerman effect as you kind of maneuver slowly round corners. It kind of jumps and skips, and what that does is translate into the most beautiful steering when you're on the go. But it is quite jittery, and the suspension is firm, the ride is hard, and all of that would make this car not difficult to live with, but certainly something you would need to think about. There's a dead pheasant in the road there, for example, and it was probably sticking up just a little bit too much. I might have just cut it in half with the front splitter. So ride-wise, noise-wise, pretty uncompromising, but it's an RS car. You would expect that, and believe me, if that's all you have to complain about, I'm happy with that. Let's go and find some roads. They're going to be very wet. There's a lot of standing water. I'm on Cup 2s. But once this car's warm, let's go and open it up and enjoy that glorious flat 6 behind me. So I'm going to start off just in auto shift, because that for me is when you get the best induction sound. You just hear it just open its throat. It's absolutely stunning. But this car really is all about taking control. I'm going to go to manual override, drop it down a couple of paddles, and just try and talk you through this car as best I can on the road conditions I have. The road surface is very wet, it's very greasy, there's a lot of wet leaves around and a lot of standing water and floods. Talking about floods, I think just round this corner, we could well be getting our feet wet. Yeah, that's really nasty. Look, yeah, this is what I'm having to deal with, people. There's a truck coming the other way. Look, that's a big flood, a really big one. Oh dear. Right, so it's like that Rufford Ford video channel. Let me just go through this nice and slowly. So yeah, in the when it's changing by itself. Oh wow, this is actually quite a big flood. While it's changing by itself, it just has this fantastic induction bark. And the engineers at Porsche have done an amazing job, because this car sounds amazing on the inside. I'm not so sure what it's like on the outside, because I haven't heard it drive past, but I was hearing Chris Harris talking about it recently, and he was saying that the really cool thing is the driver's on the inside, right? You're the one that wants to hear it sound nice. So let's just... That's changing at 5,000 RPM, about quarter throttle. Being super careful today. I'm on Cup 2s, which are not the best in... Oh, just listen to that downshift. The downshifts are so aggressive. I honestly don't think I've been in a better sounding car. I love this bit of road, but when it's dry... It encapsulates you the second you get in this car and start driving it into this visceral world of magnificence. I mean, just the downshifts. Like I've got a pack of angry wolves barking in the back of the car. And you just want to play with the gears. You want to go up and down. Change up, change down. It's just a magnificent thing. And honestly, listen to it. And it's really funny. So I put out the video I mentioned at the beginning of the film about the Cayman T last week, and talked about the flat 4 and it not having the sound, and lots of you said, yeah, the flat 6 is better. Well, in this embodiment, I mean, it so is. It's just a beautiful sounding car. Now the brakes are interesting. So I've got the PCCBs on it. And they do have... Oh, hello. Just a little bit of slip at the back. The brakes have... they're quite dead to start with. You really do need to stamp on them. Big boy's brave pants going up here quickly today. But when you do stamp on them, oh my goodness me, they'll put your face through the windscreen. Listen to that. I mean, seriously. Have I ever done a better sounding run up the Petrol Ped hill climb? I think not. Woo-hoo-hoo. Little bit of back out coming. Oh my god. Oh, back it down, Greaves, back it down, put it back into normal mode. This car gets you into a lot of trouble. When the back end goes, it's super smooth. You just have to trust the car. You know, the danger would be if it went and you just came off the throttle straight away. If you just keep it there and just trust the car. Not that I'm a tail sliding hero by any means, but that was a really good example where it just lets you know. And with the traction on, which I've had all the time, you really do have to be a complete hooligan to lose it too much. It comes in and helps you out a lot. I just, there's no way I'm going to turn the traction off in this car in these road conditions on the public road, because it's just so sketchy. You can probably see out of the windscreen there's a lot of dead and squashed leaves, there's a lot of water, standing water, mud on the road from all the forestry. It's very, very slippy. But my goodness me, this car engages you in a drive that's just magnificent. So what am final impressions of this car. Ah, come on. It's a magnificent car, and there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that it would be. The Cayman platform's so capable anyway, and Porsche said for so long they wouldn't put this engine in this car. Why they didn't do it earlier, I've no idea. I know they didn't really want it to be as quick as a 911, but as a driver's car, this mid-engine platform, the free revving 9,000 RPM flat 6 behind me, it's just a magnificent thing. And I totally understand the limited edition run, the exclusivity that Porsche create by only effectively inviting people to buy one of these or having a Porsche history as long as your arm. And I'm so jealous of anyone who's got a build slot for one of these, because it's a magnificent car. Listen to this, ready? There you go. That's 9,000 RPM, and that was only half throttle. It's a magnificent, magnificent car. Whether or not selling such high amounts of money above list at the moment is justifiable, I'll leave that one to you. At the end of the day, there are people out there with so much money, if they want one, they'll just pay whatever they have to. But it's an amazing car. Is it the best driver's car ever? Right up there. I mean, very wet conditions today and yesterday. I haven't really had the opportunity to push it hard on the public road because it's just so wet and I'm so nervous about the car. But it does give you a lot of confidence. I'd love to try one of these on track. Oh my days. Does it give you more engagement down a B road than the Cayman T I drove the other week? Yes, but that doesn't mean the Cayman T's bad. It's the noise it makes. I've never heard a road car make a noise like it. The induction noise just behind your ear hole is unbelievable. Living with the car for a long period of time it's not the best road car in the world. You can see how much I'm moving around. It's got a very, very kind of, twitchy, fidgety ride. More so, I think, than the 992 GT3. The road noise in here, there's so much sound deadening been removed. That's why it sounds so good, but it is a noisy car. I'm having to wear a lapel mic. I'm having to kind of raise my voice to be heard. But what a car. Safe to say I will remember my days with the Cayman GT4 RS for a very, very long time. Just do that or on the way down. I'll dream about that forever. It's a stunning, stunning car. I'm very lucky to be able to have said I've driven it. I wanted to take you guys along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. I'm dropping this off later today and picking up the 992 GT3 Touring manual. Stay tuned to the channel for that one. I'll see you on the next film, guys. You take care. Drive safe.